Journey to a beautiful and functional smile begins long before the surgery. It starts with the two crucial steps: mastering the safe feeding and creating a strong plan for the road ahead. Hi, I am your super dentist and welcome back to my channel. In the first video, I had shared my personal journey with the cleft, and today I am going to share the professional perspective as a pediatric dentist. If you have welcomed a beautiful baby with a cleft, then this video is your first step guide. In this video, I am going to talk about the condition and why it happens, followed by the management. So this video is going to be slightly longer, hence I am putting the timestamp below so that you can skip to your concerned section. We'll walk through this together. First, let's demystify what a cleft is. After 4 weeks of fertilization, the facial development starts in the form of appendages or bumps around the primitive mouth. Now these are in pairs and fuses to form the nose, the upper lip and the roof of the mouth. Any failure in the fusion or the joining of these parts can create a gap, which in medical term is called as cleft. The severity of the condition depends on the extent of the failure in the fusion of these parts. It can be of many types, ranging from a notch in the upper lip to the gap in the entire roof of the mouth. The causes behind the cleft condition can be multifactorial, meaning it can be the combination of genetics and environmental factors. Now, environmental factors like smoking, alcohol consumption, deficiency in folic acid, stress, radiation exposure can lead to this condition. Hence, it is very important that in the first trimester, a pregnant woman takes care of her nutrition, her mental and physical health. But it's very important to know that it is no one's fault. Most of the time, this complex interaction happens in the very early stage of pregnancy, when most of the women are unaware of their pregnancy status. It is one of the most common facial defects that is seen, as common as 1 in every 1,000 live births. Your most crucial first step is to assemble a craniofacial team for your child. Now, this is a group of specialists who will be handling your child's health from the day one. It includes a pediatrician who will look after the general health of the child, a plastic surgeon or a oromaxillofacial surgeon who will look into the surgeries, a pediatric dentist who will look into the oral health and the growth of the jaws, an orthodontist who will help in aligning the teeth, speech specialist who will look into the child's speech development, a lactation specialist who will help in feeding the child, and ENT specialist who will treat the frequent ear infection that a child will be facing. Right now, your focus should be on two immediate goals, that is successful feeding and preparing for the first surgery. So what are the feeding hurdles that you can face? A child with a cleft finds it difficult to create suction, meaning suckling of the milk becomes difficult, and the milk can escape through the gaps that is present in the roof of the mouth or the lips, reducing the intake of the milk. And finally, the air can enter the food passage, or food can enter the air passage, leading to choking. It doesn't mean that a child cannot be fed well. It just means that you need to know the right techniques. Your team's lactation specialist will give you guidelines based on your child's condition on how to feed your child. Here I am going to give you a generalized overview. Breastfeeding is very important to create a strong bond between mother and child, and it also helps in the facial development of the child. Moreover, there is nothing in this world that can replace the benefits of a breast milk. Even the best infant formulas fail in front of breast milk. It contains all the macronutrients, micronutrients, the antibodies that prevents the child from infection. Overall, it is the most nutritious thing that a child can receive. So it is very important to know how to breastfeed a child with a cleft. Infant with a cleft is held in a modified football hold or a straddle position. Basically, the child is held in a 60-degree angulation This is done to prevent choking as well as to prevent the milk from escaping through the cleft. The child intakes lot of air while suckling. It is important that frequent burping is done. Hence, the feeding can take a long duration, exhausting both mother and the child. In case the feeding becomes difficult, then we have specialized feeding systems in the form of bottles. Now these feeding bottles are designed to deliver milk with a gentle squeeze so that it reduces the sucking effort from the child and hence improving the calorie consumption and reducing the energy expenditure, which will lead to the weight gain of the child. So you have variety of options in the market like Haberman bottle, Pigeon's bottle, Dr. Brown's feeding system. You can use even syringes to deliver the milk. Ultimately, the goal is the child should be fed properly. Now coming to the pre-surgical orthopedics, this is where my role as a pediatric dentist comes. For many babies, we use a technique called nasoalveolar molding or NAM. What is it? It's a custom made removable plastic appliance which gently guides the gums, lips and the nasal cartilages into a more favorable position. It reduces the gap between the cleft, reduces the tension between the lips, hence making the job easier for the surgeon while repairing this cleft. It also reduces the amount of surgeries required and reduces the financial burden. Now coming to the surgical roadmap, the repair is timed according to your child's growth. With each team has its own unique protocol in place. Now I am going to give you a generalized sequence for the first 2 years. Now coming to the pre-surgical molding, which is done from 0 to 4 months. As explained earlier, it is done using a technique called as nasoalveolar molding or NAM. Then the second stage is the cleft lip repair. Now this is done from the age of 3 months to 6 months. Now this is the first major surgery that is done to repair the lip. Typically a guideline named Miller's rule of 10 is followed. Now according to this guideline, a child should be at least 10 weeks old. Child should weigh at least 10 pounds. The hemoglobin level should be at least 10 grams per deciliter and the WBC count should be below 10,000 cells per cubic millimeter. Now this is followed to get an optimal condition for the surgery, but it's not a strict rule. Now coming to the cleft palate repair. Now this is done around at the age of 9 to 18 months, and in this the roof of the mouth is repaired. Now this procedure is typically undertaken when the child develops sounds like ga, da, etc. Once the procedure is done, it is very important that we follow the post-operative instructions given by the surgeons. Parents, I know all this can be really overwhelming, but from an unique vantage point, both as a person who has undergone all this procedure and as a doctor who guides the families through this, one thing I can tell you with certainty, that you are building an incredibly strong foundation for your child. With your love and a properly structured medical plan, you are giving your child the very best start. So that's it for today. If you want any detailed explanation on any of the topics, be it on feeding or the surgical repair of cleft lip or palate, do let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful or inspiring, please like, share and subscribe. Together, let's spread awareness and empower more families with knowledge and hope. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.